All right, everybody. It says we're live. It's May 29th, 2020, approximately 7:38 p.m. Central Time here in Wisconsin. I wanted to share everybody a video thanks to one of our subscribers, sub/friends, brothers and sisters in Christ, who had left a link earlier. And I wanted to share that link with you. And then if you wanted to watch some live coverage of the ongoing riots in Minneapolis and shoot, a whole bunch of different places. We got, let me check this real quick. If y'all can hold up for one sec. Okay, we got one second. Riots in all different cities, Los Angeles, Ohio, etc. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a link real quick in the comment section because this is going to be a short video. But the American Dream, he's a channel I come across. Y'all might find him a little bit out there, but he's a funny dude. And he's going to be broadcasting the live streams. The reason why I can't link the link to his page from the live stream is simply because it won't allow it because you have to be over 18. So what I'll do is I'll put it in the comments section. You go from there to his channel after this is done. But I want to play a video that is pretty shocking if you ask me. But here's the link to American Dream. He's going to be broadcasting what's going on right now. I wanted to share this video to you all real quick. Let me give a shout out. We have 13 in the house so far. Bubba News in the house. Brother Josh H in the house. Sister Kelly Kibuski. Sister Ms. Mary, long time no see. Sister Diane. Christine Jr. Aristotle, I can't say your name. I'm sorry. For arrest criminal cops. Yeah, one of the police. Well, I haven't seen the update, but the live stream I did this morning, the officer that did have his knee on the neck of George Floyd, he was arrested, and they said that they were going to press charges on the other three. But before I get into any topics, I wanted to show you all this video that was shared to me. Now, I don't like the guy's rhetoric. Pardon me ahead of time, but it just seems so coincidental that the police officer and the man who died actually worked together for quite a long time. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and play this video. Mute my mic. It's not letting me mute my mic.
Well, you can file this one under "You can't make this SHIT up." George Floyd fired officer overlaps security shifts at South Minneapolis club. Yeah, they both.
I'll start that again because when I first saw that, it was a shock to me. George Floyd fired officer overlap security shift of South Minneapolis club. Let me start from the beginning.
Well, you can file this one under "You can't make this SHIT up." George Floyd fired officer overlap security shifts at South Minneapolis club. Yeah, they both worked as security at the same club at the same time. Former club owner in South Minneapolis says the now fired police officer and the black man who died in his custody this week both worked security for her club up to the end of last year. Yeah, George Floyd and now former officer Derek Chauvin here both work security at the El Nuevo Rodeo Club on Lake Street, according to Maya Santa Maria. Santa Maria owned the building for nearly 2 decades, but sold the venue within the last few months. Chauvin was our off-duty police for almost the entirety of the 17 years that we were open. They were working together at the same time. It's just that Chauvin worked outside and the security works were inside. I'll play the video here.
And from the former owner of a South Minneapolis club, she's telling 5 investigators that George Floyd and former officer Derek Chauvin both worked security for her at El Nuevo Rodeo out on Lake Street. Investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen just spoke with that woman. He's here now with more on what she said. Eric?
Jackie, to be clear, while Maya Santa Maria says the 2 men worked for her as recently as last year, she says she does not know if Derek Chauvin and George Floyd ever actually spoke to each other. The first time she saw this video, Maya Santa Maria says it took her a moment to make the connection.
My friend said, "This is your guy, the guy that used to work for you," and I kept saying, "It's not him." And then they did the close-up, and that's when I said, "Oh my God, that's him."
She says now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin.
You just have to look at the absurdity of that there when I get back here. The
The
2 of them without their mask on.
She says now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin worked security for her at El Nuevo Rodeo for 17 years before she sold the club just months ago.
Now, if you hear that, he worked the club for 17 years ago, and she had to close it down just months ago. I'm sure it was related to the COVID-19 not being able to keep the club open, but 17 years and worked with George Floyd. It's kind of hard to work security in a place, even if you're outside or inside, and not get to know who you're working with, especially when it comes to security.
Had a real short fuse, and he seemed afraid when there was an altercation.
All right, real quick, I'm going to go back a minute. She's talking about the police officer here who had a very short fuse and often sprayed people with mace, etc.
He sometimes had a real short fuse, and he seemed afraid when there was an altercation. He always resorted to pulling out his mace and pepper spraying everybody right away, even when I felt it was unwarranted.
Even more surreal, Santa Maria says, is that George Floyd, the man pinned under Chauvin's knee on Monday night, worked for her too.
I didn't recognize George as one of our security guards because he looked really different lying there like that. And it wasn't until I saw the
There he is right there. Does he look like a dirtbag, drug addict? No.
pictures
Corona.
come up, then it snapped, and then one of my employees said, "Look, Maya, he worked for us."
Both men who worked security for the same club before their final encounter that left one dead and the other at the center of national outrage. But Santa Maria says she does not know if they ever really knew each other.
They were working together at the same time. It's just that Chauvin worked outside and the security guards were inside. I thought to myself, what if he could have just said, "Hey man, you and I work together at Maya's place, man. Like, remember me?"
I can't breathe. We work together.
I don't like this guy's sense of humor. I apologize, but this is the video that was shared with me.
Yeah, that's really bizarre. Now, some people would suggest you could see how many different ways this would be spun. Of course, first and foremost, people would say, well, that's rather hoaxy. They both worked at the same club as security. One of them worked inside, one of them worked outside. Like, they would never have known each other. Of course, they would have known each other. So, Do you know where we have theatrics, or could it be some vendetta that was developed during their time working together? Maybe he had a bad encounter, or they didn't like each other, and
That's what I believe. And I'm reading the comments right here. Sister Southside said he had been preaching to the youth to stop gun violence, which is true. There's a ongoing YouTube video where he's talking about our youth today and the dangers and violence. I saw somebody said um, he wasn't right. Well, some people are saying he was writing a bad check. Other people say that he was trying to pass a $20 bill on that was counterfeit. And you know what? Hey, honestly, people are doing whatever they can to survive with this coronavirus BS, being locked up, etc. So maybe he was trying to pass off a counterfeit $20 bill, or maybe he didn't know it was counterfeit, or maybe he was trying to write a bad check for some food or for whatever. So I'll finish playing this, and then I'll get some comments from y'all.
no, the whole thing is fishy as fuck. I mean, the video itself is so convincing, but everything else surrounding it is, you know, just so theatrical. It's
One more time, I'll start this over from the beginning. It's 4 minutes long if you just came in. And then once again, I do not agree with this guy's sense of humor. I don't think it's funny at all. So 4 minutes, and then I'll jump on. And then I'm going to try to steer you towards another channel who is going to be broadcasting live the riots that are going on for the fourth day all across the United States, all different states.
well, you can file this one under "You can't make this SHIT up." George Floyd fired officer overlaps security shifts at South Minneapolis club. Yeah, they both worked as security at the same club at the same time. Former club owner in South Minneapolis says the now fired police officer and the black man who died in his custody this week both worked security for her club up to the end of last year. Yeah, George Floyd and now former officer Derek Chauvin here both work security at the El Nuevo Rodeo Club on Lake Street, according to Maya Santa Maria. Santa Maria owned the building for nearly 2 decades, but sold the venue within the last few months. Chauvin was our off-duty police for almost the entirety of the 17 years that we were open. They were working together at the same time. It's just
both work security at the El Nuevo club, like according to building for new. Oh, so they both worked there for nearly 2 decades.
that Chauvin worked outside and the security works were inside. We'll play the video here.
From the former owner of
Once again, I do not like his sense of humor at all. But taking a look here, does that look like a man that deserved to die? And does that look like a man that might have some kind of vendetta? Because when you work in the same building, even if he worked, the police officer worked there 17 years, and even if this man, George Floyd, worked 6 months, but he worked way longer than that, he knows exactly who he has his knee on. Was there some kind of vendetta, or is this something to do with the deep state, like some people are saying, to create more civil unrest when it comes to the Agenda 21, Agenda 30? Who knows? I'm not reaching that deep in the barrel, grasping for straws, but there's a strong possibility. Is it very coincidental that something big like this is happening right before the elections, etc.? And this man right here who pled for his life, and a lot of people are saying that he was suffocated. Let me tell you something, people. When it comes to the MMA, mixed martial arts, taekwondo, karate, you name it, the carotid artery on both sides of the neck, when you cut off the blood flow to that artery to the neck, you do not suffocate. Your brain does not, well, in a sense you do. Your brain does not get the blood or to the, or your blood doesn't get the, or oh my gosh, the artery doesn't get the blood to your brain on both sides. And we were taught that in MMA, taekwondo, etc. is when you do a sleeper hold, it's not because you cut somebody's air supply off, you cut the blood supply off to the brain. That's why they go out quickly. And this man right there, this police officer laying there, or just with his hands in his pockets, with his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck, right where that artery is. People say on the back of the neck. No, if you look closely, it's on the side of the neck. Yes, he was able to talk because you can still breathe. Your airway is not cut off. Your airway is not cut off at all. It's the arteries. When you close those arteries up, or at least one of them, that lack of blood flow to the brain, it's lights out after a while.
We'll play the video here.
And from the former owner of a South Minneapolis club, she's telling 5 investigators that George Floyd and former officer Derek Chauvin both were secured for her at El Nuevo Rodeo out on Lake Street. Investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen just spoke with that woman. He's here now with more on what she said. Eric?
Jackie, to be clear, while Maya Santamaria says the two men worked for her as recently as last year, she says she does not know if Derek Chauvin and George Floyd ever actually spoke to each other. The first time she saw this video, Maya Santamaria says it took her a moment to make the connection.
My friend said, "This is your guy. The guy that used to work for you."
Once again, not to be gross and graphic, like I've shown before, going back. If you see that fluid coming from him, different angles, that bodily fluid is urine. Once you submit and you pass out and your body, you are no longer alive, your vitals are gone, your body releases all its bodily fluids. If you've seen other videos and you see all that water, that's actually urine. And that just goes to show you that that man right there was dead. God rest his soul. And when he was put in the ambulance, he had no pulse. And they said that he died at the hospital, which is BS. He was already long gone by the time the paramedics got him.
Maya Santamaria says it took her a moment to make the connection.
My friend said, "This is your guy. The guy that used to work for you." And I kept saying, "It's not him." And then they did the close-up. And that's when I said, "Oh my God, that's him."
She says now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin.
You just have to look at the absurdity of that there when I get back here. The
The
two
Now, that's not me talking about the absurdity about the mask. That's this idiot.
of them without their mask on.
She says now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin works security for her at El Nuevo Rodeo for 17
Now, listen closely to the way she talks about the way he was as a security officer, his attitude, etc.
years before she sold the club just months ago.
He sometimes had a real short fuse, and he seemed afraid. When there was an altercation, he always resorted to pulling out his mace and pepper spraying everybody right away, even when I felt it was unwarranted.
Even more surreal, Santamaria says, is
Now, this is the video here. I don't know if many of y'all have seen it. This is the video where they show that George Floyd was resisting arrest. If you watch the whole video, clearly he wasn't resisting arrest. And like when I talked to American Dream and my brother in Taekwondo, we knew a lot of wrist locks, and him being a police officer. When a police officer puts you in a certain type of wrist lock, it is very painful. And your only reaction, your natural reaction to severe pain is to jerk away and to move. And sometimes police officers can consider that resisting arrest. Clearly here on the video, he doesn't show signs of resisting arrest. Resisting arrest is swinging, fighting, kicking, punching. He was, I thought he was very cordial Yeah, he might have been in pain with the handcuffs, but from what they first came out and said, resisting arrest, absolutely not. But real quick, I want to state to everybody, we have law enforcement that are subscribed to this channel. My brother was a police officer. He was a great police officer. Not all police officers are very mean, vindictive, racist, etc. You know, you get one bad apple that spoils the bunch. Always keep that in mind.
George Floyd, the man pinned under Chauvin's knee on Monday.
I'm going to record that or rewind this real. If you see the look on his face, that was a look of pain, and I know exactly the pain because my brother used to use me as a guinea pig.
Real Santa Maria says is that George Floyd.
See that? See that look on his face? That owl? That's a big man. That's a wrist lock when they're going ahead and they're putting those cuffs on. I've been cuffed up. Pardon my French. That shit hurts when they got your wrist locked up. Once again, my brother used me as a guinea pig all the time when he was a police officer, so he could learn new wrist locks and stuff.
The man pinned under Chauvin's knee on Monday night worked for her too.
I didn't recognize George as one of our security guards because he looked really different lying there like that. And it wasn't until I saw the pictures of
Corona.
him come up, then it snapped, and one of my employees said, "Look, Maya, he worked for us."
Both men who worked security for the same club before their final encounter that left one dead and the other at the center of national outrage. But Santa Maria says.
To me, that's not a coincidence that they both worked at the same club. That officer worked at the club for 17 years. Not quite sure how long George Floyd worked there. But it says right here on the title, George Floyd fired officer. Okay, so I don't know if he was the one that did fire the officer and maybe he had a vendetta, or maybe this was all planned by the global elites. I don't know. George Soros, who knows? But I felt compelled to share this with you all because someone shared this link, and when I saw it, it just made me even more devastated and sick to my stomach. And once again, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to put another link again to American Dreams channel. If he's still, he doesn't have many followers, but he's going to be live streaming all the riots. If you want to click over and show your support. He's a little wild. He's a fun guy. He's a little out there, but he's got a good heart.
She does not know if they ever really knew each other.
They were working together at the same time. It's just that Chauvin worked outside and the security guards were inside. I thought to myself, what if he could have just said, "Hey man, you and I worked together at Maya's place, man. Like, remember me?"
I can't breathe. We work together. Yeah, that's really bizarre. Now, some people would suggest you could see how many different ways this would be spun. Of course, first and foremost, people would say, well, that's rather hoaxy.
All right. I can't stand that guy's voice. So I'm going to go ahead and click off of this. But if you have not heard that, it is definitely by far very disturbing knowing that they work together. And I'm pretty sure he worked, the police officer worked there 17 years. And I'm not quite sure how many years that George Floyd died. The police officer makes sure autistic son gets home safe when he escaped. Good to see his sister, Lisa. Let me holler at everybody in here. It shows 29 in. I know, it's sad. People are tired of hearing about it. But you know what? This is not something that we need to turn our backs on. Brother Josh H. in the house. Let's Shoot Sunday. I'm going to have to pass on that one. Long story. I'll give you a shout. Kelly Kaboo, Ms. Mary, Sister Diane. I still can't say your name. Aristos, thank you for showing up. Neil Grinder, Brother AB. It's go time. I'm just going to click. shout out here. If I can't say your name right here, you'll see the link to, let me check, see if he's still on. If you all want to, I just saw a comment here at the bottom. I find it weird that George didn't call the policeman out by name when he couldn't breathe. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, right then you don't know if he was talking to the police officer beforehand, because the only footage there was surveillance footage, and then once he was down on the ground on his back, you kind of, when you can't breathe and you have all that pressure, a lot of people think that he had his knee on the back of his neck. He had his knee on the side of his neck where the artery is. Like I said, the two main arteries. Okay. Yeah, that could be strange that he didn't say the officer's name, but guess what? Maybe he was thinking about, oh my gosh, I could be dying. And if you watch that video over and over again, you will hear where he does cry out for his mother. I would say about 2, maybe 3 times that he cries out. A grown man like that crying out for his mother. That's when you step over the bounds and you have a feeling, a strong feeling that you're about to die when you cry for your mom or a family member, etc. And I do not condone the violence. I do not condone the riots one bit, because a lot of these people that are working for Black Lives Matter, George Soros, Antifa, etc., are being paid to do this. A lot of people that are burning down these certain cities don't even live there. And it's just, it makes no sense to burn down your own city. And I mean, if you go back and you look and you see people that are walking around during the daylight, and you've got Target, you've got Cash America, you've got all these places with the windows smashed out, almost every single window smashed out, and building after building burnt, to the ground. Yeah, Sister Callie H, absolutely. And Diane Blue, Sister Diane, my son is a retired cop. This is very upsetting to him. And that's another thing too. If you all, I know everybody here, well, I would say 99.9% of us, know that, like I said, one bad apple can spoil the bunch. If you have family that's in law enforcement, you have every right to be nervous. Because now, like I said, you got probably Atlanta by now. You've got Los Angeles, you've got Ohio, you've got Minneapolis, Minnesota, where it actually happened. You're going to start. You'll see a bunch of different states going ahead and starting these riots and these looting. And the sad part is they're not thinking about George Floyd when they're kicking in these windows or throwing rocks and bricks and stealing TVs and stuff. No, they're not thinking about him. They're not thinking about his family. Peaceful protest, that's what it's supposed to be about. Yes, I know a lot of people are hurt and upset. That man definitely was murdered as far as I'm concerned. And what makes me sick is being a law, a police officer, officer of the law. When you see somebody in distress, they even do that on the battlefield. If they shoot an enemy and that enemy is still alive, they have to render aid to that enemy. They should have rendered aid to him immediately when he was unconscious. But no, that officer kept his knee on the side of his neck for a reason. As far as I'm concerned, they knew each other very well. And I don't know. I'll just keep my mouth shut there. Stay home. Yeah, it's a safe place to be. Stay home. I wouldn't doubt that, Sister Danielle Agajania. God bless you and your sister. I was beaten bad after Rodney King. I was going home. A lot of people were. And yes, that's true, just 100%. Just pray for your family members that are in law enforcement, or even just just be careful in what you do, and just know that there are people out there that are just using this as an excuse to vandalize, rob, steal, etc. Not everybody. There's a lot of peaceful protesters out there, but it's the rioters that give what's going on a very, very bad name, and it's heartbreaking. I'm going to click over here real quick, see if I can find if I can find it real quick. American Dream. Silly guy, but a great guy. And see if he's still doing his live stream. Okay, he's still why is it not popping up? If you can bear with me 1 second. I think it's because he's got it for it's not coming up because it says age restricted. I don't want to read the policies. This is stupid. I understand and I wish to proceed. Okay. Let's see what he's talking about here. Ouch. About blew my eardrums out. Let me go back to share screen. Sounds like he's beating his dogs, but he does love his dogs. Brother Michael Gale says they are fighting with cops in San Jose, California. Yeah, I you know. Why is this not working this way? Are you all able to see? All right, well, there's American Dream. Now he's going to Taco Bell, but he's live streaming right here. I'm going to click over and tell him that I got him on live stream. I don't think he realizes it. If I can turn this up for a second.
Warranted that and change it. But clearly, the way that the prosecution has brought this case, many feel that there's undercharging going on here. So bringing it, that shakes out. It's obviously going to take some time for all of this to get resolved. But in the meantime, we have
now San Jose, that's San Jose, California. That's not Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm telling you, people, this is going to stretch far and wide. It's going to end up in Atlanta. It's going to end up in Chicago. It's going to end up all over the place.
Hey, I can stream on my phone now. I can stream on my phone. Hey, I'm gonna get that out. Because when you're hardcore like me, you never take any precautions.
He's funny.
All right, you are the man. Thanks a lot. Dude, thanks for all your help. Ow,
So, anyways, if
you're gonna watch you eat, but I'm gonna keep this going. Hard order. Oh, it's on me. Okay, that's there. This is your. Oh, my plug.
okay, so if y'all are interested in go over and support this channel, here once again, here's a link to his channel. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna watch it. So if you want to click on this isn't the video. Click on this and then look for his live stream, and you'll be able to watch it live. Columbus, Ohio, too. Yes, thank you. That's the one I couldn't think of. Sister Diane Blue, Columbus, Ohio is they're having riots. It was in Kentucky and Colorado, many places last night. People that don't know, that's true too. Sister Callie H. But what I saw in Colorado and Kentucky, I saw a lot of protesting. I did not see the rioting that was going on. I'm sure there was some, but the bashing of police cars, burning of buildings, smashing in things. So, anyways, there's a link if you want to jump over. And if you do decide to jump over, tell them Locked and Loaded sent you, and I would appreciate that.
I didn't even put my mask on. But I will be persistent. I will be vigilant.
I'm sorry, but this guy cracks me up.
You're Rockico. That's right. You're Rockico. Why? But I'm a hardcore professional.
If you see this right here, people, this ain't. It's gonna go crazy.
There were a great many people that found it hard to believe that it could be that bad until suddenly the
It's just kind of ironic, with the COVID-19 and all this stuff. When we talked about civil unrest and how they were going to bring on civil unrest, this is a pretty good way of bringing on civil unrest across the United States, across America, etc. So anyways, everybody, thank you for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Once again, there's the link to American Dream if you want to jump in there and check out his stream. Just show him some support. He's silly. He'll make you laugh. If he offends you, I'm sorry to hear that, but he's a good guy. Sister Lisa, if you don't mind showing your love as well. All right. Fear no man, never fear death. Get right with God. Fight the good fight and always stay locked and loaded. God bless.